Hello, everybody. All right, let's look at what we got here. Let's look at what we got. Is there anything you love here from the NFL? Yeah, give me the game-winning layup. So, yeah, it's Tony Matlock, and then we'll go with that. Give me both. I'll take Steph, how he's feeling, Kerr, fatigued. And Cubs final, please. Yeah. Thank you. I'll do this live stream in the monologue quickly, and then we'll get to the show. Here we go. Do you have me in Zoom yet or no? Yes, no. Okay.
That's 888-623-3646. The sports night is just getting started, and this is Mad Dog Sports Radio Tonight. Now,
out of the gate, JT, here we go tonight. It is March Madness in progress. North Carolina 35, San Diego State 14. We got about 5 minutes to go in the first half. Remember, North Carolina is the team that no one liked. No one believed they should get in. Literally, no one believed they should get in. With their 1-11 quad one wins, San Diego State played in a national championship, got to a Final Four, a national championship game a few short years ago, and they are really struggling to hit the three in this game. They get a putback bucket here to make it 35-16. Man, they got to cut this thing a little bit closer at halftime if they're going to have a chance in the game. Welcome in. It is March Madness, and you know the rules. Tonight is my last show of the week, and I need your winner for the national championship game. It's not simple. It's not easy. That's why they have these brackets, this tournament. It's hard to do. It's hard to pick a top seed to win this thing, let alone an upset. So if you got an upset, you got a team you think's going to do something, let it be known. Sound off like you got a pair at 888-623-3646. 888 Mad Dog 6. If you got a team that's going to get a couple of upsets going and get to the Sweet 16, like McNeese State, like Utah State. I went down the list. I'll give you tonight. I'm going to give you my bracket, my full bracket. I know you're waiting with bated breath, but we'll get you that coming up a little bit later on, because I think if you're going to play along with this stuff, you should play along. If you're going to get involved in this, you buy Super Bowl squares for the Super Bowl. It's March Madness with the bracket. You should get into it if you play. I've got a bunch of buddies of mine playing a Masters pool for golf. Fake like you're interested in it, man, because sports radio is really going through a tough transition here. Let me explain that. Sports radio is going through a difficult time now. There's a lot of streaming. There's a lot of Netflix. There's a lot of Hulu. There's a lot of Amazon Prime. There's less and less people who are engaged in sports the way they used to be. That doesn't get off my lawn. That doesn't get off my lawn guy at all. I'm not the get off the lawn guy. I go to nightclubs in Vegas. Don't worry about me. I have more fun in Vegas 1 weekend a year than some people have in 10 years. But the point is, we got to gravitate to the big moments in sports. We have to gravitate to the big moments in sports because people are kind of just floating in and out. And I don't like that. Christopher Mad Dog Russo's name's on this channel. Did you hear his rant today on his son not being able to get an interview at the Mets spring training facility? I'm going to play about 2 minutes of that later. It's probably some of the best radio I've heard in years. You need people on the radio who are excited, who go to games, who love sports, not people that are going to talk non-sports and kind of just blow it off. This is the time of year when we get to March Madness where we want to hear from some of you experts. And who are the experts when it comes to March Madness? College kids, kids who are on a college campus at some of these campuses that I couldn't point out on a map and can tell us about their team. Professional sports gamblers. We'll have Bill Krakenberger on later in the show, America's favorite sports gambler, on how to bet. And then you have a segue or segment of our population that's into college basketball. But that number is less than it was with Christian Laettner and Michael Jordan. It's less than Carmelo Anthony at Syracuse. It's fact, not fiction. They'll tell you that they got more digital downloads and more people. It's not as intense as it used to be. So what we got to try to do is make it intense on a night like tonight. If your team, your alma mater is playing in the tournament, sound off like you got a pair. If one of these schools are in the hometown where you live, sound off like you got a pair. Turn it into an on-air pep rally, because isn't that what college sports is all about? It's about feeling good about your team, the team that you went to, where your mom and dad might have went to school, where you hope your kid goes someday. That's what's different with college basketball and football than the NBA and the NFL. The NFL is going as strong as ever. But I think the NBA is struggling right now because we don't see these kids playing college enough. We just don't. And we can't tie them from college to the NBA. We just had Zion Williamson come from Duke to go to New Orleans, where careers go to die. He was a great player in college. He suffered some injuries, but there was never a connection with the Duke fans going to New Orleans. We don't see. Do you know where Damian Lillard went to college? You know that Giannis Antetokounmpo's from Greece. Where did Nikola Jokic go to college? No, he played in Europe. And where did Luka play? We got stars. Where did LeBron play college? He didn't. He went from high school to the NBA. So we don't have the connection of Christian Laettner or Patrick Ewing. Let me tell you this quickly. When Patrick Ewing played at Georgetown, I remember the Georgetown years because I'm a big Knicks fan. Before he came to the Knicks and we had the frozen envelope and we were able to scam him and get him to my Knicks, which was great. Patrick Ewing's arguably my favorite player of all time. I did not like him in Georgetown. When he was at Georgetown, he was a badass. He was the type of guy you didn't like. You're like, who is that guy? I don't like that guy. That guy is rough and he's tough, and I'm not a Georgetown fan. But a lot of other people like Patrick Ewing because they love the Hoya paranoia and they love the colors that they wore and the street cred that they had. Remember the street cred for Larry Johnson and the great team of Stacey Augmon and UNLV. How old were you when people started wearing UNLV jackets in 89 and 90 and you saw it everywhere? I moved to the Fab Five when the Fab Five wore the oversized shorts and everybody started wearing oversized shorts on the pickup grounds. In high school, they wanted to be like Chris Webber. They wanted to be like the Fab Five. Who wants to be like this Houston team, a number one seed? Can you name one of the five guys on Florida? You can't. So we don't have the connection that we should have for this sport. And I worry about that as a sports talk radio host. I worry about this because when I see sports decaying a little bit, I want to help prop it up. And I think we have problems now with NASCAR with the shrinking audience. Other sports has a shrinking audience. The audiences that are growing, a lot of people in the United States are not a part of the Premier League and global soccer. That's growing exponentially here, but we don't seem to pay attention to it. F1 is big all over the world. We don't seem to pay much attention to it here, even though they have some stops here in the United States. This is what we do. We do March Madness and college basketball better than anybody. We are the United States of America. And when March comes around, we have March Madness and we own the global world of sports. I just wish it sounded like that on my show. So you hear the passion I have the first 10 minutes of the show. One day I'm going to have 9 people on hold before this show starts, and then I'm going to quit. I'm going to call Steve Torrey and say, I accomplished my goals. I had everybody ready. They match my energy. It's March Madness. Until then, I'll remind you, I'm looking for you to wake the hell up and give me a winner. Tell me how you bet in this thing. Be passionate about it. If you went to one of these schools and you think they can win a game or get to the Sweet 16, I'm telling you, get going. We need you. Because sports radio at night, I dominated it for close to 20 years. It's a whisper now when it comes to this tournament. People should be driving from state to state overnight trying to get to these games and get tickets. and root on their alma mater and tailgate and have a couple of beers in the parking lot before the game. That's the sports I grew up with. Match my energy tonight at 888 Mad Dog 6. North Carolina 37, San Diego State 19, 2:03 to go in this game. As you're aware or not, the game is on True TV. One of the problems with the sport is they put the games on True TV, and we don't watch anything on True TV all year other than the Carbonaro Effect or maybe some Murder, She Wrote reruns here, but they want us to watch that here. I'll give you my bracket next hour of the show, but I picked Florida to win it all. I have three SEC teams in the Final Four. Now, you might say that's chalk. Yeah, you can say it's chalk, but there's 14 SEC teams in the NCAA tournament out of 68. 14. I mean, they should probably play an SEC tournament again, and it would be better than most of this. It'd be more entertaining. But who do you got coming out there, and how far do you have the Dukies going? Another topic I want to get to here in the monologue of the show. Do you hate Duke now as much as you hated Duke years ago? I think that is a tremendous topic. A lot of people hated Duke with Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley. Do you hate Duke now because of Cooper Flagg? Or do you like them and you're a little bit kind of at ease with the Dukies now? I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. Because for most of my career, people would call into the show. 1 year Duke lost and another year Kansas lost the championship game. And I had more people call in at night about Kansas losing than almost any topic of my life because people wanted to see Kansas lose so badly. So for the Dukies, they come in here, and I don't feel the hatred that we felt 15, 20 years ago. And again, if you're 20, 21 years old, you won't get up what I'm saying. But if you're over the age of 35 and you remember the hatred of Duke, now Duke seems to be a likable team because they don't have Laettner and they don't have Hurley. And this Cooper Flagg seems to be a really good kid. And no one seems to have the passion to root against Duke the way they used to. Bruce Pearl of Auburn is a polarizing figure. He's very polarizing. If you followed his whole entire career, he's burnt some bridges along the way. But he's a really good basketball coach, and he knows how to recruit. And he knows how to recruit grown-ass men to transfer to Auburn and be really good in the portal here. They've done an unbelievable job. Most people are picking UC, San Diego, and Vegas as your marquee 12-5 matchup. Do you have that as an upset alert? I do not. I think Michigan will get out of the first round. I think Oregon will beat Liberty. But in the Midwest, I have an upset for you. I think that McNeese is going to beat Clemson, and I think McNeese could get to the Sweet 16. I love that matchup there. I also have an upset alert with Drake, the 11, over Missouri in the first round game. I love the matchup there for them. And I'm picking the 12, Colorado State, to get by Memphis. And Colorado State here, just look at the numbers. I'll get to the Vegas lines here. I think that is a misseeding. I think Colorado State is better than Memphis, but Memphis is the 5, Colorado State is the 12. We have potential for a great coaching matchup. Kansas plays Arkansas. Bill Self versus John Calipari in the first round. Winner gets Rick Pitino and St. John's after they beat Omaha. I like what's going on with the Johnnies of St. John's. Rick Pitino has the whole city of New York kind of behind this team, and they feel really good about where they're at. I love the fact that the Johnnies are playing with momentum. Now, can the Johnnies come out of this thing and win? Well, they better, and they better win the first couple of games, because if they don't, it's going to be an epic disaster for Pitino. And if they don't get out of the first and second round, it's going to be an epic disaster for Pitino. Hey, man, Pitino's been loving this, everybody. Pitino's enjoying putting on the suit, the Armani suits. He's been enjoying the sold-out Madison Square Garden. He's loving the interviews. He's loving going on Jimmy Fallon. He's loving this stuff, man. He better win. And the game that's got me most nervous than any is the fact that can UConn beat Oklahoma? Yes, I have UConn and Danny Hurley beating Oklahoma, my son's alma mater. I'm rooting for Oklahoma, but I think Danny Hurley can win that game. What is Danny Hurley going to do going up against Florida? Danny Hurley and UConn have been unbeatable the last 2 tournaments. Unbeatable. Not even close. Now he's in as an underdog, and he can go up against the team that I think could do the most damage in the entire tournament, the 1 seed Florida that I picked to win the national championship. So that's what I got for you overall. I'm heavy on the SEC. I think the SEC teams are loaded. Let's get to the final layup win as Alabama State. This was a good game. I caught the last 10 minutes of the game. It was going back and forth as Alabama State advances.
They have to go 94 feet. Simpson will inbound under his own basket. Pinedo pressures the ball. He throws a baseball right-hand pass, arcing toward the far free throw line. It's loose under the basket. Laid up and in by Knox. 7/10 of a second to go. Amar Knox gives Alabama State the lead.
That was incredible. That is the first big play of March Madness, everybody. The first big play of March Madness just went down that way. And you heard that on a game-winning layup, which was fabulous television and obviously radio there as we get all of our great sound from Westwood One here. We appreciate that. Here's the final call as Alabama State advances and they get out of the first in-game in Dayton.
He needs to go 94 feet and score to at least tie the game. Madlock pressures the inbound. Kelly throws it into Moncrief. Three-quarter court heave for the win. No, it's short. And the Alabama State Hornets, the SWAC champions, have won their 7th straight game and are victorious in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever.
That is really nice to see how they won there. Westwood One on the call. So let's celebrate that the tournament's underway. North Carolina just hits another big shot. This game looks to be over. It looks to be over. North Carolina's up 47-23 in the 11-11 playing game in the NCAA tournament in the first round. They just look great. And North Carolina is playing with the chip on their shoulder. I mean, the governor of West Virginia wants to sue the NCAA or the selection committee for leaving out West Virginia. Pretty easy to see that North Carolina would come in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And another big topic I want to get everybody involved with and that I'm interested in, the final call for the Dodgers as they played the Cubs in Tokyo. And I live out west in Las Vegas, the Pacific time zone. We're talking about 3 a.m. as the Dodgers open up the season on the long road trip.
Scott's pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3, a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th, a 10-pitch inning for Tanner Scott. He picks up his first save, saving it for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who will get win number 1.
So the Dodgers win their first game of the season, and good for the Dodgers. The Dodgers have won. They're going to win 115 or 120 games if they stay healthy. They are far better than everybody else in baseball. But I'd like to get some comments tonight on this garbage trend of Rob Manfred to start regular season games in Tokyo. It's great for baseball marketing, and they need marketing. They do. I get that all, but it really messes up the clock. The games count. Then they get time off, and they come back here. They're moving up. You're going to get baseball in March instead of April. I don't like it. I don't like a lot of the traditions that are leaving in baseball. Some of them I'm all right with. But the shift and everything they're trying to change and the ghost runner on second base in the second inning, the things that they've done overall, the pitch clock, I'm good with the pitch clock. And I don't know how good I'm going to be about having the strike zone, the analytic strike zone and all that. We'll see it. But for the Dodgers to open up, and most people didn't see this other than diehard Dodger fans, let me know if you consume this. Part of the business in the show I like to do is I like to know what you consume. What do you watch? I got a great job. I was a stockbroker. The best job I ever got in my life was sports talk radio host because I watch sports live or on TV and get paid to talk about it. So that's the consumption business. What do you watch and what do you talk about? That's what I try to do here every night. Streamline the show and get you into what you're interested the most about. 888 Mad Dog 6 as we open it up tonight. I need your winner, and I need to see who's going to win this thing. We begin with Biscuit in Houston, where Houston's a 1 seed, and they have the opportunity to win the NCAA tournament. Go ahead, Biscuit. I have the 2 seed. I have the 2 seed Tennessee Volunteers knocking out your Cougars because they're bigger and they're stronger and they're taller and they're going to keep you out of the painted area and make you take bad threes. That's how I did my analysis.
We got better shooters this year, man. We got better shooters. I think I'm with you though on Florida though. Florida will look impressive. I think they're gonna be tough to beat. I would mark. If I'm making a bracket, Florida would be the number one team to win it all. I'm not so strong on Auburn, JT. I think they peaked too soon. I think they starting to fade, and they don't have the depth. And if the big guy getting foul trouble, they're gonna have some issues. So I'm Florida. I'm with you on Tennessee. Rick Barnes is known to mess up some games. I think Kelvin Sampson in a tight game going out.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Yeah, that's fair to say. Thanks, Biscuit. Thanks for supporting your team. I appreciate the call to start it off because Houston's loaded. They have 7 guys, or 8, excuse me. I have my notes here. 8 players on Houston. 8 played 32 games or more. 32 games or more. The most they played was 34, and they have 4 players who did that. They have 4 players who are averaging double-digit points, so they're great with that. And they shoot a decent field goal percentage. But they're experienced. They have older players. It's really been the theme of Kelvin Sampson is to get older players, to get transfers, to get guys who have stayed in a little bit bigger, stronger, and then run you out of the gym. I think they're going to run into a problem with Tennessee. I have Houston getting to the Elite 8. I have them losing on the way to the Final Four to Tennessee. 888 Mad Dog 6 as we open up the show. See, it's not that hard, everybody. Let's pick some winners tonight. We got gamblers listening tonight. They want winners. They want to hear former board ops who bet $5 a game telling who to pick. I need some sharp gamblers out there who move the needle and bet a dime a game and know this sport. Andrew's in Vermont wants to talk about St. John's led by Rick Pitino. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming in. The Johnnies are going to live and die on R.J. Lewis Jr. His 18 points a game is a lot. And the guy's got almost 8 rebounds a game. They got Richmond. Richmond's playing great at 12.7 a game. They got a lot of experience there also. They got 4 guys on that team that played 34 games. 4 guys who played 34 games. You'll notice I'll mention that number. I'll mention that number a lot because when you got an older team or a senior-led team and you got guys who played 30 games or more going into the tournament, and if they're healthy, that's incredible because a lot of these mid-majors and smaller schools, they got players that have not played a full season like the big boys did in the SEC or St. John's schedule. All you got to do is get an upset in the tournament. All you got to do is get a win. I like the teams that have senior leadership, great guard play, and a lot of experience with the starting 5 that played over 30 games. That falls right into the Johnnies and Rick Pitino. This is Pitino's shot with St. John's. Don't tell me about next year and the year after. The guy's not getting younger. He built this team to go on a deep tournament run. 888-623-3646 is the number. All right, we're rolling. Let's get you in here. The start of baseball started early. Do you like that, or do you think it affects the tradition of the game? And when we come back, we're in search of Aaron Rodgers. Is it Ayahuasca? Is it Australia? Is it Malibu? Several teams want a decision from Aaron Rodgers. I'll tell you where I think he ends up when we return right here. Mad Dog on a Tuesday night. JT the Brick. Thanks for listening. Yeah, good start. The balls are at the bottom of the hour. I'll tease balls. Westwood One, NCAA Radio. I knew that. Oh yeah, I've been doing this. I know the program. How sticklers they are with this. It is tough. All right, chat. What's happening, chat? Hey, last call to get in and get my bracket challenge. If you go in there, you'll see I got a bracket challenge over on my YouTube channel there. If you could spread the word on that, I'd greatly appreciate it. And get a couple people in there. I think we got a few people in there already. So I greatly appreciate that. And my goal is to, on nights when I'm not on, like a Wednesday, Thursday night, to launch this show and kick the hell out of the people that are on radio actually and do a bigger show on this YouTube channel. And that will happen pretty soon because we're building that momentum. So hit the like button. I appreciate you being in here. And I'm going to keep this for another 2 or 3 minutes. And then I got a bail at the bottom of the hour for legalities. And I'll be back tomorrow, noon to 2, from an actual sports book. I'll be hosting the show from the Stratosphere. It's called The Strat now. And we'll do that tomorrow, kicking off March Madness, and go from there. So that's it. If you want to get into the show, I'll give the number. Okay. So we got Jeremy Huber on the updates. Have the Cam Hayward soundbite ready to go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. You know, I feel like I'm a coach, a head coach in this time slot, trying to get people to run through walls for me at night to talk about the tournament. This is probably the quietest I've ever heard the tournament on a Monday and Tuesday. I just don't know why we're not connecting with more fans that have an alma mater or a school that thinks they can win this thing. Does everybody think Florida's going to win and it's going to be chalk with Duke in Florida? And maybe one of those schools, or do you got an upset for me? 888 Mad Dog 6. The Hall of Fame voter, Howard Balzer, joins me next, the great NFL insider. I want you to listen to this viral soundbite from Cam Hayward, who's the leader of the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt's the best player, but the captain and the leader, Walter Payton Man of the Year guy, is Cam Hayward. And here's what he thinks about Aaron Rodgers.
Darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Like, either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. Like, if you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch.
Yeah, you hear that? Basically, you got players in the league, peers of Aaron Rodgers, going, what the hell are you doing, man? We're the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is doing this to the Steelers. So the final 3 teams that I'll talk about with Howard coming up next are the Steelers, the Giants, and Minnesota. And I think Minnesota could screw this whole thing up if they turn the team over to J.J. McCarthy year 1. If that's their choice, that's their choice. When we come back, I'll tell you why that is a catastrophic mistake. Sam Darnold had that team on the verge of going to maybe multiple NFC championship games and didn't want to pay him. Okay, they drafted J.J. McCarthy. If they get Aaron Rodgers, they'll have a better chance than J.J. McCarthy. And don't tell me about rookie quarterbacks. He's not a rookie quarterback. He's in his second year, and he missed his entire first year with a knee injury. Okay, that guy's not leading anybody to the playoffs. Howard Balzer will join us coming up on the other side, the Hall of Fame voter, on exactly how this is going to play out for Aaron Rodgers, who seems to be taking his time because he can. Now it's time for your Mad Dog Sports Bite. Here he is, Jeremy Huber.